Hi, I'm Penny from the Danville Public Library. This week we're going to be talking about Martin Luther King. And this is the Freedom Bell. Don't forget to pick up your craft. There'll be craft kits where you can make your own. And we're going to read this book called Martin's Big Words. It's got it listed on the back and on the side here, but on the front it has his picture. Everywhere in Martin's hometown he saw the signs, white only. His mother said these signs were in all southern cities and towns in the United States. Every time Martin read the words, he felt bad, until he remembered what his mother told him. You are as good as anyone. In church, Martin sang hymns. He read from the Bible. He listened to his father preach. These words made him feel good. When I grow up, I'm going to get big words too. Martin grew up. He became a minister like his father, and he used the big words he had heard as a child from his parents and from the Bible. Everyone can be great. He studied the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. He learned how the Indian nation won freedom without ever firing a gun. Martin said love when others said hate. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. He said together when others said separate. He said peace when others said war. Sooner or later, all the people of the world will have to discover a way to live together. In 1975, on a cold December day in Montgomery, Alabama, Rosa Parks was coming home from work, and a white man told her to get up from her seat on the bus so he could sit. She said no and was arrested. Montgomery's black citizens learned of her arrest. It made them angry. They decided not to ride the buses until they could sit anywhere they wanted. For 381 days, they walked to work and school and church. They walked in rain and cold and in blistering heat. Martin walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them until the white city leaders had to agree they could sit anywhere they wanted. When the history books are written, someone will say there lived black people who had the courage to stand up for their rights. In the next 10 years, black Americans all over the South protested for equal rights. Martin walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them. White ministers told them to stop. Mayors and governors and police chiefs and judges ordered them to stop, but they kept on marching. Wait, for years I have heard the word wait. We have waited more than 340 years for our rights. That's a long time. They were jailed and beaten and murdered, but they kept on marching. Some black Americans wanted to fight back with their fists. Martin convinced them not to, by reminding them of the power of love. Love is the key to the problems of the world. Many white Southerners hated and feared Martin's words. A few threatened to kill him and his family. His house was bombed, his brother's house was bombed, but he refused to stop. Remember, if I am stopped, this movement will not be stopped, because God is with this movement. The marches continued. More and more Americans listened to Martin's words. He shared his dreams and filled them with hope. I have a dream that one day in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. After 10 years of protests, the lawmakers in Washington voted to end segregation. The white-only signs in the South came down. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. cared about all Americans. He cared about people all over the world. And people all over the world admired him. In 1964, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. He won it because he taught others to fight with words, not fists. Martin went wherever people needed help. In April 1968, he went to Memphis, Tennessee. He went to help garbage collectors who were on strike. He walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them. On his second day there, he was shot and he died. His big words are alive for us today. And here are some important dates down here at the back of the book is January 15th, 1929. Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta, Georgia. And June 18th, 1953, Cora Scott and Martin Luther King Jr. were married. May 17, 1954, in Brown versus Topeka Board of Education, U.S. Supreme Court declares racial segregation of public schools unconstitutional. November the 17th, 1955, Yolanda Denise King is born. December the 15th, 1955 through December the 21st, 1956, Montgomery bus boycott. January 10th and 11th, 1957, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference is founded and Dr. King is chosen president. February 1st, 1960, the first sit-in Greensboro, North Carolina. January 30th, 1961, Dexter Scott King is born. November 1961 to August 62, Alabama, Georgia protest movement. March 28, 1963, Bernie Albertine King is born. April through May 1963 in Alabama protest movement. August 28, 1963 is Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech at the March on Washington. January 23, 1964, the 24th Amendment eliminates the poll tax in federal elections. July 2, 1964, the Civil Rights Act is signed, prohibiting discrimination and public accommodations and employment. December the 10th at 64, Dr. King is awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. January through March of 65, in Alabama, there is a protest movement. August of 1965, the Voting Rights Act becomes law. April of 1968, Dr. King is assassinated. April the 4th, Dr. King is assassinated. April the 11th, 1968, President Johnson signs the Second Civil Rights Act. October of 1981, the Martin Luther King Jr. Center for Nonviolent Change, also called the King Center, opens in Atlanta, Georgia. November 22, 1982, U.S. Senate approves the erection of a monument to Dr. King in Washington, D.C. And then lastly, January 15, 1986, Dr. King's birthday is celebrated as a national holiday for the first time. Well, thanks for joining us. Have a good week.